Testing, audio test. Please tell me I'm good in chat. Testing. How is my mic? Excellent. Okay, welcome. Welcome everybody who's tuned in so far. Welcome to Breakout Racing League Season 6. We've got Realistic tier today, our Realistic Performance tier on Xbox, and we're here at the Silverstone International Circuit today for round 9 of our championship. We are at the halfway point of proceedings at the moment, and we're here for qualifying 1. As usual, starting off with an 18-minute qualifying session. The top 15 out of these guys will move on to qualifying 2, which is a 15-minute session, and then the top 10 from that will go on to Q3, which is 12 minutes, and that will finally decide pole position. And it looks like we've already got a bit of a curveball thrown in here, as it is raining. As you can clearly see, everyone is on the intermediate compound tires by default, and that could remove a lot of the strategy from the from qualifying here, because normally there are 2 different compounds of dry tires available to people during qualifying. We'll have to see if it clears up or if the rain worsens during the course of these sessions. It certainly could, since we are going to have a lot of track time in this full qualifying format. So we'll keep tabs on that. We've already got our... Oh, my spectator menu is already frozen. Okay, so we're going to be scrolling the old-fashioned way here over to BRL Ardell in the Renault Sport F1 car. Ardell has been with Renault since the start of the season, if I remember correctly. He's been here for pretty much every race, all the way back to Bahrain at the start of the season. And he'll be the first man to set a lap, or at least try to set a lap time here in Q1. I don't know why it's just cut to Mitchie, but we'll go back to our... What just happened with Ardell? He was out on the track like 2 seconds ago, and now he's in the garage. What's... Okay. I'm not sure what's happened there, but Camden1325 and Dark Ice Racer, welcome to the chat, welcome to the show, and I hope you enjoy today. But it looks like, I guess Ardell will not be the first car to set a lap after all. That'll be TTM Stenner in the Williams car. Keep in mind, we are on realistic performance settings, as the name of the tier suggests, so the Mercedes is far and away the fastest car in the game. And they have the best engine, of course, as well, which is especially important at Silverstone, which is by all means a power track. And then we've got the Williams here at the other end of the spectrum, which is far and away the slowest car there is, competing with the Haas, I suppose. We've got a 19-car grid here today, almost full. The only guy we're missing right now, I believe, is the Haas of FinFan, who is absent today for reasons that I do not know. But we're going to ride on board here with TTM Stenner for a little tour around the Silverstone International Circuit. What an amazing track. One of the best on the calendar. Lots of historic stuff here. First corner, Abbey. Pretty simple, flat out, even in wet conditions. Into the first big braking zone on the track here. Turn 3, Village Corner. Difficult right-hander. A lot of oversteer on the exit sometimes. And through Aintree. Got to be careful on the power here as you're constantly turning all the way through that last little bit there. But Stenner getting through pretty well down the Wellington Straight now. This is normally a DRS zone, but the DRS is, of course, disabled in the wet. Through Brooklands, another tricky left-hander. Easy to get wrong in the exit. And now through Luffield, the right-hander. You got to be very careful not to take too much curb on the outside there, or you will spin out. Taking it tight through Woodcote onto the old front straight. Through Copse. Not quite flat out in the dry, certainly won't be in the wet. And now up to the fastest corners on the track, Maggots, Beckett's, and Chapel. Maggots, and that's Beckett's. And then down to 4th or 5th gear for Chapel. Ooh, a bit of oversteer from Stenner on the exit there. Onto the hanger straight now. That's going to impact his lap time, but he will still set the benchmark time here, the first time of the session, simply by virtue of the fact that he's out there right now. TTM Stenner going through Stowe Corner now, usually 5th or 6th gear. And into the final couple of corners here, the Vale Chicane, followed by Club, which is the last tiny right-hander. Again, not quite getting it right, missing the second apex of Vale. But he's going to manhandle it across the line for a 137.911. Next car across the line will be the Red Bull of Taylor Fan. Actually, he's on an outlap, so it's going to be the Racing Point. No, both the Racing Points are on outlaps. Well, who's going to be next? I think One of the Alfa Romeos? Yeah, it's Mitchie 950. In the Alfa Romeo car, setting a 139.220. He must have made even more mistakes than Senna did. BRL Skeppy in the Ferrari, getting a 137.927. He's not faring too well either. He should have easily beaten the Williams considering the pace of that SF1000 car. Because however many memes we might make about this car in terms of its real-life performance, it is handily faster than the Williams in all situations in this game, at the very least. So the times are going to start rolling in rapid fire here, I'm guessing. The two AlphaTauris coming up to the line now. BRL Neymar leading Deer Hunter. Or Deer Hunter leading BRL Neymar. Deer Hunter going P1 immediately. Here's his teammate Neymar coming into across the line, actually. 136.5. He usurps his teammate by 0.8 of a second. Very good pace from AlphaTauri early on, but the heavy hitters still have not gone out for laps yet. BRL GUTIDU in the Mercedes, last week's winner from Austria, setting a 138.147. That is quite the unsatisfactory time. Going over to Joe F1 now in the McLaren car. He got his new ride recently, quite an upgrade from the Williams that he was driving for most of the rest of the season. Up to P2, 136.7, not bad at all. And now the two Red Bulls approaching the line. First Taylor Clan, the defending champion of the realistic tier, but looks like he's invalidated his time, as you can see by the red mini-map. And that's going to be his lap out the window. FinFan has not made the same mistake. He's in the racing point today rather than the Haas. And he sets a 136.943. Again, not bad at all. Unknown Ute not able to put himself on the board in the second Ferrari. Lewis Fan 44 just starting a lap. Lewis actually just made his BRL debut at Austria last week, driving the Alfa Romeo. And today he's getting a little bit of an upgrade, although he is still a reserve driver. Ritzy Raccoon going straight to the top of the timing sheets with a 135.327, far better than anything else that the other guys have mustered right now, although Taylor, I suspect, will post a competitive lap time to that. Ritzy currently the championship leader. And Interior Titan currently saying that it's going to be rain for the entire race. Titan, of course, is privy to this information because he is one of the realistic tier managers, so his drivers are going to be feeding him information throughout the race on what's going on, and it looks like it is going to be wet the entire time. Classic British weather, and I love it. I absolutely love it when it rains around here. It always makes for some amazing racing. I remember the very first time I commentated for BRL was in F1 Tier 3 last season, and it was also at Silverstone, and it was also raining in these exact same light rain, intermediate-ish conditions. So I am very excited to see what we have in store today. Mean Fern in the second Mercedes goes towards the top of the timing sheets with a 135.5. GUTIDU just 1/100th of a second behind after his second lap, a huge improvement from previous. Bosscookie in the racing point also slotting in at P8. Oh, Taylor Clan slotting into P2. 135.459 as I predicted. Pretty close, it was almost within a tenth of his teammate, Ritzy, although I'm sure he'll be wanting to push ever farther. And we're approaching the halfway point of the Q1 session now. Pretty soon, I suppose, we'll be able to find some breathing space to talk about, the results from last race and the current state of the Drivers' and Constructors' Championships. Interior Titan now saying full wet to inters for the race. So it's going to start out in even heavier rain than we have now. The race is going to start in heavy rain, and then it's going to transition to light rain throughout. So I suppose we can expect even heavier rain than we have right now for the start of the race, and then towards the end it'll be just like it is right now. Light rain, intermediate tires, still decent speeds. So the scoreboard seems to be shaping up now. Bosscookie up to P3. Excellent lap from him, 35.5. TTM Stenner appears to have logged another lap. 37.9. No, wait, that was his original time, I believe. Hey, Catra and the Renault just scraping into the top 10 with a 37.3. Not the best lap, but not the worst either, considering her machinery. Oh, a bit of a spin, though, and Catra's off. And that is the commentator's curse. Ladies and gentlemen, Catra wearing the Nico Hulkenberg-esque helmet from 2019. And, ooh, another spin. I think that's BRL Neymar. Yeah, it is. Neymar off at Abbey as well, and these are some really tricky conditions. I wonder if the rain is getting ever so slightly heavier and people are getting caught off guard by it. I wonder. BRL Phantom in the Williams, MRL Victor in the second Ferrari, and BRL Ardell, who was I thought was going to set the first lap of the session. They have all yet to set lap time, so they're going to have to really step on it here. Unknown Ute currently outside the top 15 on pace. So he's going to have to step it up as well if he wants to see the next session. Anyway, BRL Phantom currently on a flying lap, actually just finishing up a flying lap, heading through Vale here. Let's see what his time's going to be, especially compared to his teammate for the day, Stenner. And it's going to be something in the 39. It's going to be a 39.2. Ooh, that's 1.3 seconds behind Stenner. That is not good. The first, of course, as a driver in a driver market / manager-based tier, the first guy you're always going to be compared to is your teammate, just like in real life. So, not a good image for Phantom right now. He's in P16, and he's currently in position to get knocked out of Q1, although he is in a Williams, so that's not exactly a surprising position for said Williams. Ardell and Victor both starting up lap times. Let's ride on board with MRL Victor, see what he can do with the Ferrari. Could be more than his teammate Skeppy, but he could also crash and burn, similar to how Phantom did compared to Stenner. Coming through left field now, a bit of a sloppy line actually. Not looking good. He's struggling to stay on the ideal racing line through that corner. Getting a good exit though, using just enough curb to really gain speed, but not enough to spin him out. Down the old front straight now. This seems to be quite a distinct dry line forming in the middle of the track. That's the track evolution for you. Oh, and he goes just a sliver wide of Cops, and that is his lap invalidated. But I'm guessing he'll most likely get another chance. We do have about 6.5 minutes left on the clock still. That is more than enough time to dive into the pits, put on a fresh set of tires, and go at it again. Ardell heading through the same part of the track now, heading up the Cops. Is going to invalidate as well. Silverstone, in terms of track limits in general, Silverstone is not the most punishing track, but there are quite a few places that where it's easy to just do that tiny corner cut here or a little bit of a track extend there. Cops is one of those places. Beckett's is another. It's really easy to cut the inside of Beckett's if you're not careful. Bit of oversteer out of Chapel for Ardell, but nothing like the invalidation we saw at Cops. Purple middle sector, actually. I'm not sure if that's a fluke, because this game does sometimes show fake purple sectors for spectators. Going through Stowe, now looking nice and smooth. Actually, this is a good lap from Ardell. That could be a legit purple sector, especially if the rain has started to lighten up ever so slightly. Bit of a lock up into Vale. That's going to kill his momentum, though. And that might ruin his chance at breaking into the top 10 here. Should be a comparable time to his teammate Catra, though. Yes, it is. Only a few tenths ahead, 136.979, and that puts him up into 11th place, just barely leapfrogging his teammate. One of the Mercedes cars comes up the line now. It's GUTIDU. And GUTIDU improves on his time. Up into the 135.4s and up into second place on the timing sheets. I'm not sure if that was really necessary, considering how high up he already is and considering how static the weather appears to be, although it might not actually be. But GUTIDU going at it nevertheless. And of course, the wear on intermediate tires, the pace fall off the intermediates and wets in terms of all-out like qualifying style pace. It's not, the fall off of it isn't quite as punishing over several laps as it is with, say, medium dry tires or especially soft dry tires. So you will see these guys doing a lot of laps on the same set of wet compound tires, even though traditional wisdom says that's a bad thing for qualifying. Purple first sector for GUTIDU on this next lap. It looks like he's transitioning straight into another flyer. He really wants P1 right now, but he's going to have to shave another 10th off his time to get it. The leapfrog Ritzy. GUTIDU has actually had a pretty rough go of it this season so far, despite the fact that he's spent pretty much the entire season in this Mercedes car that's been so dominant in real life. Before his win at Austria, GUTIDU had only scored a grand total of 8 points throughout the entire season. He finished 3 of the 8 races, or 3 of the 7 rather. He failed to make it to the start of the race at Bahrain. He did not attend the Netherlands race either. He DNF'd at Baku, and he finished outside the points at Vietnam. So GUTIDU, he's had a lot of struggles, but now he's coming into his own. His win at Austria last week was really in dominating fashion, and we could see that again today. And ooh, he goes P1 by some margin. That's a 34.7. That's the first 34 we've seen all session. Bosscookie retires. He seems happy with his time. But if the track actually is drying up, if there is a dry line forming that's saving people that much time, like GUTIDU just demonstrated, then it could be that nobody's safe. And these guys might just have to keep lapping until the end of the session to make sure they're safe. And that would degrade the available tires they have for the next 2 sessions. So it'll be an interesting dynamic to see how people react to the changing weather conditions here, if it turns out that it's actually changing to a noticeable degree. Who's going to be next across the line? Looks like one of the racing points. No, that would be FinFan coming into the pits. Yeah, I believe most people are just pitting right now. Phantom's on an outlap about to start his next flyer. And he'll need to find about 0.2 of a second to get into the top 15, but even then it probably won't be enough. Since Victor, Ute, and Reptile, or Mitchie, they could all easily knock him back out again. So Phantom is going to need a little bit more, I think, than just the bare minimum P15. But I will say, I don't see a whole lot of Twitch chat activity right now. Let's change that. All right, let's change that, guys. Discuss your thoughts about the race, what's going to happen. The new F1 game, F1 2021, was just announced today by Codemasters for a release date of July 16th. So talk about that. Talk about whatever you like in chat. This is a community, after all. You guys can use this platform however you choose. El Cuchinero saying, let's go Bulls. Yeah, Red Bull going strong so far, currently leading the Constructors' Championship, largely because of the Mercedes drivers' struggles. Meanfern has been consistent so far this year. He just hasn't seemed to have unlocked the full potential of that Mercedes car. GUTIDU has been very inconsistent, but his highs have been very high. Or his singular high has been very high, rather. His win from the Red Bull Ring. Taylor invalidating his that next lap there, but he's pretty safely into Q2, I think, as things stand right now. Fritzy starting another lap right now, trying to steal P1 back from GUTIDU, but he's going to have to shave a lot of time off. 5.5 tenths is the margin between him and the Mercedes driver right now. Next across the line is going to be Phantom. And Unknown Ute actually has retired from the session at some point recently. I'm not sure why. Maybe he crashed, but he put a time on the board, 139.262. So Ute, at the very least, is going to be out in Q1. We know that much. And Phantom improves quite a bit, but it's not going to be enough. It is not going to be enough. Phantom is down in 16th. It's going to be now or never for Phantom. He's only going to have one more shot here at a lap, and it's going to be right now. He has to find almost a full second, actually. He has to find a ton more time in that Williams FW43 if he wants to eclipse his teammate Stenner, although I'm sure Stenner would just is probably saying to him over party chat right now, hey, Phantom, you probably don't have the pace. Just let me get into Q2 right now. If there's only room for one of us, it should be me, because I've had the better pace so far. But, yeah, I'm not going to assume what goes on in Williams' team chat, but it might be something like that. MRL Victor has just retired. It looks like he's actually crashed at the in Aintree. Ooh, Stenner finding nearly a second of time. That rockets him up to 12th. That could put him safely into Q2 here. And it's going to raise the bar for Phantom as well, because it means his closest competitor, MRL Victor, who just DNF, he needs 1.2 seconds now. Not just 9 tenths, but over a full second to make it into Q2. It is now or never for BRL Phantom. Let's see what his middle sector split is coming out of Chapel. Drew Beckett's now into the switchback right-hander. Showing decent pace considering his machinery. Very smooth lap. Ooh, but he's not improving. He's not improving. He's currently 200s down on his previous time, and I don't think there's going to be enough track in the third sector for him to make up time. Into Vale now. Phantom's going to need a miracle here, I think. And it's not going to come. Broken Reptile eclipses his time as well, 138.1. And that's going to be it. Phantom improves, but it's not enough. He is out in Q1 for Williams. And meanwhile, BRL Neymar. Oh, Neymar's crashed. There's been a crash. Hold on a minute. This is, oh, he's out. What's happened here? It appears to be the entry to Maggots. And I think that's Catra. Yeah, it's Catra and Neymar who have been caught up here. And neither of them are going to get another chance for a lap. Ooh, they're so lucky that almost nobody is still on a flying lap right now. Because if that had happened earlier in the session, they'd be cooked right now. It looks like Neymar is just going to barely make it into Q2, same with Catra, but I have no idea what happened there. I'm going to try and shed some light on that with Discord chat. Meanwhile, Broken Reptile has actually invalidated his time, so he's going to forfeit his chance here to get into Q2. So Neymar will be safe after all, but just barely. Oh boy, that is quite the incident. That is quite the train wreck. You don't see that very often, because people are usually very cautious in Maggots and Beckett's when they're near other cars, but that appears to... Meanfern in chat and Discord saying Catra's car getting touched inappropriately. Yeah, I would say that. Interesting. Catra claiming in chat that the game took control of her car. And so it might have been an AI incident there, and Neymar just got caught in the crossfire. I'm not entirely sure, but these are your eliminations either way. Oh, Neymar is out. So, you see, sometimes this game just takes 15th place out of Q1 randomly, and Neymar, that's a big name. That's an upset. He's been easily one of the top 10 fastest cars so far this season. He is going to be really out of position for the start of the race, and with no real tire strategy to speak of in a wet race because it's all the same compound at a given point, he's going to have a really hard time making up ground unless he just nails the transition from the wet to inter phase that I've been told we're getting during the race. But this is your these are your charts. GUTIDU and Ritzy kind of in a world of their own right now, in a class by themselves. GUTIDU just edging it out, and he appears to have found the pace that he needs to be consistently good in that Mercedes now, because he has gotten some really threatening pace at the moment. And we're going to transition into Q2 now, where the top 14 will be battling it out for a spot in Q3, the final pole position shootout. Wait a minute, looks like we've got some technical difficulties here. I'm seeing in Discord chat right now, everyone's game has apparently crashed. F12020.exe has stopped working. I've never seen this before. Seems like everyone in the realistic chat right now on the BRL Discord server, which you should totally join, by the way, is claiming that their games have just crashed. This changes things. Yeah, I think it looks like it's going to be a lobby restart here, with short qualifying this time. Oh, nope, never mind. We're gonna be doing a little creative problem solving here. The admins have decided to just marshal everyone back into the lobby because it was a disconnect. It wasn't a crash of the server. It was just disconnects by everyone. So we should be able to reconnect here and get on with our day. El Cuchinero asking, why is Neymar out? Sometimes the game just likes to take 15th place out in Q1. It's another really interesting bug and really annoying bug that I hope they get out in the next game. Yeah, Neymar just kind of got screwed over there. That's the best way I can put it. Yeah, so just sit tight here, folks. People are going to be trickling back into the lobby slowly here. And qualifying will continue, but it looks like Q2 is going to be shortened for pretty much everybody. You can see some people trickling out now. Joe F1 in the McLaren. It looks like he's going to be one of the first people, but Ritzy Raccoon, the championship leader in the Red Bull car, is going to be the first person to come out onto the track now for the first flying lap of Q2. We're going to leave him do that, and we are going to take this opportunity to go through the results of the last race real quick, the Austrian Grand Prix, just so everyone is caught up. So, last week, Austrian Grand Prix, ARS GUTIDU secured his first win of the season. And Taylor Clan finished second place on that particular occasion, and Red Bull secured the double podium with Ritzy finishing in third. As of right now, this is how the Drivers' Championship currently stacks up. Ritzy Raccoon is leading the championship at the moment with 124 points after 8 rounds. His teammate Taylor Clan is in second place with 108 points, keeping things tight. Bosscookie in the Racing Point car currently 96 points, sitting on that in third. He still has an outside chance at the championship, and everyone behind them really is out of the equation at this point. Mean Fern in the Mercedes only sitting on 60 points in fourth with 2 podiums. Joe F1 currently 52 points in fifth, rounding out the top 5, and then Deer Hunter with 51 points, Catra with 36, Neymar 35, ARS Sainz, who's not here today, with 34 points, and GUTIDU currently rounding out the top 10 because before his win he hardly had any points. He's got 33 right now. So that's how the Drivers' Championship currently stacks up as we see Ritzy heading through his lap right now onto the old front straight. And as for the Constructors' Championship, Red Bull are leading by a very significant margin, 232 points. They're actually leading by 101 points over Racing Point, who are currently second with 131. And then Mercedes aren't far behind Racing Point with 118 points to their name. AlphaTauri are fourth with 86 points. McLaren are fifth with 56. Renault are sixth with 39. And Ferrari are right behind them in seventh with 38 points. Haas have 7, Williams have 6, and Alfa Romeo have yet to score any points so far this season. Yeah, Dark Eyes explaining the technical aspects of the glitch that excluded Neymar from Q2. But Ritzy coming across the line now. What's his time going to be? A 36.7. Not a bad baseline, but nothing near what happened in Q1. Joe logging a much better time, half second quicker. That is a 36.2. And it's going to be a Racing Point next up. I think it's going to be Bosscookie, but he's just starting his lap. Actually, he's on an out lap. So we'll disregard him for now. Same with Skeppy, same with everyone down to the 2 Renaults. Catra, or Ardell rather, is going to be the next one to come towards the line. No, it is going to be Catra, my bad. And she's coming into the final chicane now. Vale and Skeppy might have actually held her up there. That was a very sudden braking out of Stowe. Not sure why that happened. And the time's going to be something like a 36, and it's going to be a 36 flat actually. Look at that. Hey, Catra snatching P1 to Ardell snatching P1 right off of her with a 35 with a 35.0. Almost a second faster. Things are popping off early here. Deer Hunter coming up to the line. I believe he invalidated his time. Or he was just starting. I didn't quite see that. Taylor Clan coming up next. Oh, actually my spectator menu is working again, so we'll be continuing to use that. Taylor up to 4th place, 36.3. The Red Bull struggling early on here. Lewis Fan up to 2nd place. Not bad at all for Lewis Fan, who was the last of the runners last week in the Alfa Romeo. He's set to 35.2. I think the rain is probably quite a bit lighter at the moment than it was in Q1, because everyone besides the Red Bull seems to be getting a pretty decent boost in time here. Ritzy coming across the line for the second time, not improving. Not sure what it is. Joe invalidating his time. Bosscookie's going to be next. And he's angling for something in the 37s right now. Ooh, bad luck for Bosscookie. That's a 37.1, and that is last place for right now. Crap, BRL Skeppy is next. And we'll read the chat real quick. Cuchinero says, it seems like EA is giving Codemasters a good budget right away, though considering all the changes for F1 2021. If not, I'm surprised Codemasters made so many big changes in 1 year. Yeah, I hope the EA money helps Codemasters make a higher quality, more polished game, but I'm not holding my breath, honestly. Because at the end of the day, EA's new policy, letting studios kind of do their own thing for the most part, it is going to... Skeppy looks like he has a bit of a glitched lap here. At the end of the day, if EA lets Codemasters do whatever they want, Codemasters is going to keep doing what they've been doing for a while, which is release games that are very good, that are very feature-packed, but are also very, very buggy. That's the main thing with them. Their stuff is really buggy. Deer Hunter actually retiring in the pits for some reason. For reasons that escape me. I am not entirely sure why he's done that, but he has indeed, so we're going to move on. And TTM Stenner's going to be next across the line in the Williams. And he's angling for, ooh, 36 flat. Not bad at all for the Williams, beating Ritzy, Joe, and Bosscookie. Taylor Clan has improved on his time. He's up to third now with a 35.5. Still falling short of the McLaren and Renault, though. Who's going to be next? I think it's going to be, no, BRL Skeppy is next. And Joe is retired. Hold on a minute. What just happened there? I do not know what's going on here. Oh, terminal damage for Joe. Both of them have retired. Okay. So Joe and Deer Hunter are both going to be out in Q2, it seems. Joe's time, although decent, I don't think it's going to be a top 10 time, especially since he won't have the chance to improve if the conditions improve. And Skeppy's laps appear really glitched right now. The times don't seem to be starting when he comes across the start-finish line, and he's... Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on with Skeppy right now, but we're going to move on to Lewis Fan. Hold on a minute. Lewis Fan snagging provisional P1 right now. Yeah, a bit of a slide off of Abby. Oh, and that's a spin. Still a great lap, though. That doesn't detract from that in the slightest. FinFan rocketing up to P2 as well with a 35.0 of his own. But Lewis Fan, that lap just came out of nowhere. Lewis Fan being a bit of an unknown quantity right now, considering he is very, very new to the league. GUTIDU setting a provisional time of 1:37.9. He will want to improve on that at the earliest possible opportunity. That was a pretty bad lap. Maybe people are being caught out by the conditions here. Maybe there have been some subtle changes in the conditions that are making people slip a little bit compared to Q1. I'm not sure. Emerald Victor is still in the pits. Mean Friends coming out right now for his first lap with just 4 minutes left in the session. Yellow flags across the board right now for nothing at all. And the Renaults are going to be coming across the line soon again. Ooh, Catra having a big tank slapper off a Stowe. That might ruin her lap, but Ardell is flying right now, improving by a quarter of a second on his previous lap. He could usurp Lewis Fan here, depending on how his third sector goes. What's it going to be? It's going to be a 34.6 and almost eclipsing Lewis Fan. Within half a tenth, but can't quite get it done. Still a respectable time, though. Very respectable time. Catra not improving. That mistake in the Stowe corner costing her as I predicted. FinFan failing to improve on his lap that just finished. DTM Stenner coming into Vale now. And it looks like he's on a pretty slow lap. He might have made a mistake earlier on because, yeah, he's shaping up for something in the 40s right now. Oop. And I've just disconnected. Hold on a minute. What's going on here? Audio testing. Has my entire Wi-Fi just gone down? Or can you guys still hear me? Is it just the game, or is it everything relating to my connection? Put it in chat if you can still see the stream up right now. I'm not getting any response. All right, stream's still up. Thank you, Thorger Orphia. Thank you very much. Thank you for that info. So it is just the lobby. It's not my entire connection. Ooh, it looks like Skeppy has actually just found himself in the main menu as well. Looks like a lot of people are disconnecting quite a bit, but I'll join off Mean Fern real quick, and we will keep this going. Wolfenden in chat, hi to you as well. We're just having some technical difficulties here. I just disconnected from the lobby. So we are trying to get back in at the moment. And hang tight, folks. I'm just going to procure an invite real quick. Ooh, everyone. Oh no, okay. It looks like we're having some more technical difficulties. It seems that everybody was just kicked from the lobby again for the second time, just like they were at the start of Q2. This might necessitate a lobby restart. This might necessitate that. Yeah, this is an issue. Yeah, we are restarting. It will indeed be a lobby restart. So we'll be doing short qualifying. Yeah, hang tight, folks. This is going to be a long evening, it seems like. Haribo40 in the chat. Hi. Hello, Mr. Haribo. If you're just joining us, I'm sorry you have to join now because we are in the middle of a lobby restart process, and it is tedious, and it is boring, and I just want to get back racing again. But we will get this sorted out. And in the meantime, hang tight. We're going to be doing the lobby restart here since everything crashed in the middle of qualifying. We're going to be doing same conditions. We're going to make sure it's still raining, and it's going to be a short 18-minute qualifying session to decide the entire starting grid. So unfortunately, there's no way to carry over qualifying if the lobby was ended mid-session. So we are going to have to completely rearrange that. So everyone who was eliminated in Q1 and Q2, they're going to be back into play because we don't really have any other choice than to let that happen. Ardell in chat saying, "Sweet Caroline, many swear words." Yeah, come on, Ardell. I get it. You're frustrated. We all are. This is some pretty stupid stuff going on Codemasters, especially since they just announced their new game today. But come on, keep your stuff under control. I don't want to have to mute you. Wolfenden saying, "Can you just not have the drivers that got eliminated retire from quali?" Wolfenden, if we did that, then it wouldn't be guaranteed that we would get the same order as we got in Q1 and Q2. For example, I believe it was Unknown Ute that was 19th and last in Q1. If he retired and 8 other people retired at the same time because they got eliminated, the game would assort them in a random order. So we can't really do that because it means you would have just as high a chance of starting 11th as starting in this proper place, 19th, which is just even more unfair than giving them another fair shake. So yeah, it's one of those limitations of this game. It doesn't take things like in the order of who retired. It just randomizes it in that case. So it's unfortunate, but it's okay. We work around it. Actually, there's conversation going on in Discord. We might have to skip qualifying entirely. We might just take the provisional grid from Q2 and use that to make a manual grid here, because what's being said now is if we have any more delays, the stream here could cut into the Formula 2 tier stream, which is set to start in about an hour and 45 minutes. So we're trying to avoid that. And if we do short qualifying now plus the race, it could endanger that. So we might actually just skip straight to the race here using a provisional starting grid. And it looks like, yeah, we're gonna have to see how this conversation plays out in Discord. I'll keep you guys updated. Things are kind of in flux right now. Alright, it looks like we are going to be doing short qualifying instead. We're going to be doing the short qualifying method instead of taking the grid from the end of Q2. So we are going to continue with that. And we're going to go back racing again after some delay. Wolfenden asks, what percent races? We do 50% races here across the board. In every single tier, it is half the distance of your standard Formula 1 Grand Prix. So at Silverstone, that will be 26 laps for this particular race out of the regular 52. Or is it 27? Yeah, it will be 27. Yeah, because the regular race is 54 in real life. So to answer your question, there you go. And here we are with the full 19 car grid again, and things are going to be pretty hectic for the next 20 or so minutes. And people are heading out onto the track now, led by what appears to be Ardell in the Renault. Yeah, it is. So we'll ride on board with him. Ardell heading up to Stowe Corner now. Almost ready to begin his first lap of the session. Again, everything we've done up to this point in qualifying is now null and void because of the lobby restart. And so we will be starting from scratch with this session. Wolfenden says, is the race also going to be raining or just quali? I'm not actually sure what the weather was set to for the race. I know the weather was controlled for qualifying because we wanted it to be light rain again. But for the race, I'm not sure if it's scripted or dynamic. If it's scripted, then we will be doing what was originally intended, which is a race starting in heavy rain and then transitioning to light rain throughout the course of the race. But if it's on dynamic, then it's anyone's guess. Good so far for Ardell throughout this lap. Through the third sector now into Stowe again. A little bit of oversteer. He had to lift off there to keep the car in a straight line. That will cost him a bit of time. Still looking solid on the whole, though. Looks good through Vale. No real mistakes in the club. And it's a 36.3. That is the benchmark time. Bar has been set. Williams car coming up the line. TTM Center setting at 37.2. Phantom can't top it. He gets a 38.8 in, and ARS GUTIDU up to the top of the timing sheet with a 35.341. Catra's going to be next across the line. What can she muster? It's a 136.7 just behind Ardell, but ahead of the two Williams cars. BRL Skeppy up to the line. Invalidated. So he will not go on the board just yet. BRL Neymar now. What can he muster? Looking good. 35.7. Not bad at all for Neymar. Greenfern comes across the line but does not post a time just yet. Unknown Ute is next. And that's 39.3. Slowest of all so far, but it says he got a purple third sector. I'm not sure about the truthfulness of that. Seems a bit sus. Finfan invalidated. So he will not be on the board. What about MRL Victor? What can he do? We're looking a bit squirrely through the third sector. Out of club, what can he do? 37.2. And that is mid-pack for right now. Next up with Bosscookie. Can he rocket to the top? Yes, almost. 35.5. Ooh, less than 200ths away from GUTIDU. Looking very tight right now, but the two Red Bulls have yet to go. Ritzy first. All the way up to the top. 34.7. What can Taylor do? Taylor must have made a mistake because he's down right in the basement. 39.5. As Phantom is now retired. I'm not sure why. Ooh, is the hanger straight? What's going on with Phantom? I'm trying to find a car that's passing the scene right now. Ooh, there it is. Yeah, it looks like his wheel's hanging off the right front, I think. Phantom's had a crash, and he is going to be out of qualifying with that pretty mediocre time. No, Neymar, oversteer for Neymar. That's going to make him invalidate the lap, and he will not improve. MRL Victor just modestly improving right now. By very small and fine margins. What about through sector 2? Ooh, he's behind now. He's just down on his previous time. Unknown Ute trying to improve his time. Can't do it. Broken Reptile just starting a lap right now. What about Finfan? Finfan rockets up to 6th place. 36.2. A little bit of a wiggle for Victor again. He's really struggling with the Vale chicane in particular. Is he going to improve? Yes, he is. Only by half a tenth, though. And he will not improve his position at all. Next up is Bosscookie. Can't improve his time. What about the Red Bulls? Taylor looking really good right now. Oh, and it is up to P2. It's a Red Bull front row lockout as things stand right now, 134.9. It's really popping off now. What about Mean Fern? What can he muster? It's not Mean Fern that's coming up to the line next. It's going to be GUTIDU, actually. And he goes P1. P1 for GUTIDU, 34.583. That's the fastest time we've seen so far. Joe F1 improving up to 6th place with a 35.9. Catra improving with a 36.0 up to 7th place. Eclipsing FinFan just slightly. Deer Hunter failing to get on the board, and Mean Fern up to P3, 34.7, and Mercedes now has the advantage. Mean Fern plonking in a purple 3rd sector there. I believe it. That's some excellent stuff from him. What about FinFan? Can he improve now to match his teammate Bosscookie? He does. It's a 35.4 right behind his teammate. 3rd row lockout right now for Racing Point as it stands. Deer Hunter gets on the board this time, 36.0. And that is going to be good for P10. Broken Reptile tries to get on the board. Can't do it. Can't do it yet. Lewis Fan currently on an outlap, about to start his first flyer of the session. Looks like everyone's diving into the pits right now after their laps in preparation for one final push. But some people are staying out. There's a Mercedes stopped at the entry to the pit lane. It's GUTIDU. Ooh, looks like he had a bit of a spin on the exit of Stowe, but no damage to his car. Nothing that'll cost him time. Joe comes into the pits. One of the Williams cars continues on. I think it's TTM Stenner who is on an outlap right now. He just came out of the pits. And he'll be trying to improve in his time of a 137.290. He needs at least 0.07 of a second to improve his position over MRL Victor. And a lot more than that to get into the top 10, which I don't think he'll do, to be honest, considering he is in a Williams. Neymar improves up to P6 with a 35.4. His teammate Deer Hunter will be the next to set time, but Stenner's already invalidated. Ooh, he must add a bit of a cut at Aintree. And his lap is over before it begins. We still have 8 minutes left in the session, so he will get another opportunity. Deer Hunter, meanwhile, coming through Vale now. Good split in the middle sector. What's it going to be when he gets up to the line? Just a slight improvement, but it's enough for him to leapfrog Catra with a 35.987. Unknown U leapfrogs Phantom with a 38.3. And immediately gets put down to 16th again by Broken Reptile, who gets a 38.0. Mitchie just starting his flying lap right now in the Alfa Romeo car. Looking to maybe break into the top 10 if he can. Mitchie coming down the Wellington straight now. Looking good so far. What's his Sector 1 split going to be? Well, I suppose he won't have one since he hasn't set a lap yet. He's the only one in the session to have not yet set a lap. Looking good though, a 30.795. A little bit of a wonky line through Luffield though, but that has been commonplace throughout qualifying, so he might not be at too much of a disadvantage from it. Coming down the old front straight now. The National Straight, as some call it. Maggots and Beckett's now. Looking very smooth indeed for the Alfa Romeo car. Out of Chapel, using all the track and all the curb. Smithster saying, of course it's raining at Silverstone. Yeah, of course, it's typical, quintessential British weather. Going through Stowe now, Mitchie looking good so far. Our Australian Tier 3 commentator. Into Vale. How's it looking? Very poised, but also very on edge. Makes sense. His car is not the best in terms of downforce. And it's a 38.4. It's right at the bottom with Phantom. Not a good lap at all for Mitchie. One of the Red Bulls is going to be next. It's going to be Taylor. but he's just starting a lap. TTM Stenner's just retired now. Oh, he's lost it at the exit of So, it looks like. Let's ride on board with the Ferrari of BRL Skeppy. He's currently heading to the scene in his Ferrari. Yep, there it is. The stricken Williams. Both Williamses now falling victim to terminal crashes. Phantom lost it on the hangar straight, and now Stenner in Stowe. Not looking good for the Williams pair right now. Meanwhile, Deer Hunter on a flying lap right now, trying to improve even further up the leaderboard. But looks like he's botched his lap and is going to be headed into the pits. Yeah, indeed, he is pitting. That turned out to be an in lap. But Bosscookie, on the other hand, is carrying on, and he's looking like a much better lap at the moment. This is going to be a 34, I think. Yeah, it is a 34. Up to the line, 34.6, up to second place for Bosscookie. Not bad at all, eclipsing both Red Bulls and one of the Mercs of Mean Fern. Taylor's going to be next. What can he manage? He's down 2/10. He's up 2/10 on his previous time right now. That would put him into fourth place. But he's going to have a little bit more time here to make up. And it's 3/10, and he's leapfrogged Bosscookie by 2 milliseconds. The margins here are getting extremely fine, and Taylor back up to second place. Not bad at all from him. Taylor had some struggles at qualifying last week. He ended up qualifying 8th place at the Red Bull Ring, but clearly he is much more comfortable at this circuit and in these conditions, as he's really posting up the times right now very consistently. And Joe has improved hugely on the previous time. He could be right up to the front here. 6th place, best of the rest right now, 1:35.0. Really good lap from Joe. Ooh, but he loses it at Abbey. It seems to be a recurring trend. People just losing it at Abbey after really strong flying laps. BRL Skeppy's next, and he really improves. That's a 36.2, and that's going to put him back up to 11th place, which is about where you'd expect the Ferrari to be. BRL Neymar closing up to his teammate Deer Hunter in lap time, 35.4. Unknown Newt just starting another lap right now. Next up is going to be Broken Reptile. He's actually just starting a lap, so we'll disregard him for now. GUTIDU making his way through the middle sector right now, trying to expand his advantage. Oh, Bosscookie takes provisional pole. He takes provisional pole by 0.015 seconds. And that is huge. That puts more pressure on GUTIDU to improve. But he is improving 3/10 up through the middle sector. It's looking good for the Mexican right now in the Merc. GUTIDU through club corner now. Mitsuya Cruz going to be putting in a lap right behind him. And it's up to pole position, 134.313. But it's not, hold on, it's not registering. It's not displaying. The game just said it was the fastest lap. I wondered, did the game invalidate it right at the end? This does not make sense. Might be a scoreboard glitch. I don't know. I legitimately do not know who has pole right now because of that glitch. That's quite the problem. All right, we'll see if it pops up in a couple minutes. I'm not sure what happened there. But in the meantime, let's take a look at some more laps. As right now, BRL Neymar trying to improve. Oh, but he's invalidated his time. That's not going to be good. And that's a throwaway of a lap for the AlphaTauri. He wasn't going to improve anyway, it looks like. One of the Alfa Romeos coming up to the line now. I think it's going to be Mitchie. No, it's going to be Unknown Ute, actually. Cross line, he's improved significantly, and he leapfrogs his teammate. That's a 38.0. And he's going to have another chance to improve here, potentially. He could leapfrog Broken Reptile or even TTM Stenner. He is within range of both. Broken Reptile, though, improves his time up to a 37.9. Just barely an improvement, but an improvement nonetheless. Mean for not quite able to improve in the Mercedes. And Joe is out now. I think he retired in the pits, though. Yeah, indeed he has. So he is just happy with his time for right now. Mitchie retires as well, but yeah, he retires in the pits also. So some people just giving up here. although some don't have time to set another lap. Fan up to the line. He does not improve. And Taylor takes pole position with a 34.2. GUTIDU's 34.3 isn't showing up on the scoreboard, but anyway, that time wouldn't be enough to keep pole from falling into the hands of the Red Bull driver. Look at that. Ritzy's coming up to the line now. What can he muster right at the end of the session? He's up on his time, and he's up to 134.433, and that is going to be enough for second place, but GUTIDU's lap, I'm not sure what happened to it. It's still glitched. And he's going to be down in P4. Phantom saying, I love giving someone room and they kill me. Yeah, Phantom, I'm not sure what happened there. It seems like the middle of the hangar straight is a pretty weird place to crash on your own. So that was a bit sus to begin with. So things are really coming to a close here. Unknown You trying to improve. He's improved significantly and is up to a 37.5. That not bad at all. He leapfrogs Broken Reptile, who's going to come up to the line now. What can he do? He can't improve back up. Unknown You leapfrogging Reptile right at the end. Ooh, Lewis Fan 44 losing his front wing right at the end of the session here on his last lap. So he is officially done. Looks like FinFan spun as well. He's done with the session as well. He'll be down in P7. Disappointed to lose out to Joe, I'm sure, in the slower McLaren. But Ritzy's going to have one more chance here. Ritzy just snuck another flying lap in. He could still improve here up to pole position. Let's see. He is in a position to improve right now. GUTIDU up to pole, 34.173. And that is yet another development. Ritzy's going to have a lot of pressure on him now. He has enough to beat Taylor, but does he have enough to beat GUTIDU? No, he spins. He cuts club corner, and he spins out. And that is going to be the end of Ritzy's hopes for pole position. No. What have you done, Raccoon? Skeppy coming through Vale Chicane right now. FinFan has retired. Looks like pole is going to go to Aris GUTIDU just like he did last week. Skeppy improving just slightly, but he's not going to improve his position. Neymar up to P7, though, with a 135.1. And Deer Hunter's done. Who's not done? I think that's it. I think that is indeed it. Aris GUTIDU has taken pole position for Mercedes-Benz for the second week running. Taylor Clan is going to join him on the front row in the Red Bull, followed by Mean Fern and Ritzy. It's going to be a checkerboard of Mercedes and Red Bull front two rows. Bosscookie 5th, Joe 6th, Neymar 7th. Then FinFan, Deer Hunter, and BRL Ardell rounding out the top 10. It'll be Catra 11th, Skeppy 12th. Lewis Fan 13th, then Victor, Stenner, Ute, Reptile, Mitchie, and Phantom. That is your starting grid for this British Grand Prix. Now, here is the question. Was it put on dynamic? Was the weather set to dynamic by the coordinators? Or was it scripted again? So are we still going to get heavy rain followed by light rain, or is it going to have a chance of being dry here? We're about to find out. On-field rookie says new to the game. Does someone here play with Xbox controllers? First of all, rookie, welcome to the F1 community. It's a great place to be. This game is great at its best, just very buggy and messy at its worst. I will say there are a lot of people playing on controller nowadays. Like I personally played on controller a long time before I got a wheel recently, and a lot of these guys in the field right now, you know, a controller is very viable in a league racing setting. The F1 2020 game, when it launched, there was a big controversy about how it suddenly made the controller better than the wheel as an input method. And well, that's not necessarily true. It is competitive. If you can get good enough with the controller, it's more difficult than a wheel for sure. The skill curve is higher, but you can compete. And here is your starting grid, folks. As I said, GUTIDU, Taylor, Meanford, and Ritzy, Bosscookie, the top 5. And this is how it is all the way on down the order. Pardon the static. No problem, rookie. That's what I do. So we are finally, after waiting for far too long, and with far too many delays, we are going to get into this race. Finally, the British Grand Prix is just moments away. Stay tuned. It looks like it is still going to be rain, heavy rain. So the weather was scripted, I'm guessing. Wet race. Ooh, this should be very satisfying indeed. And here we are now for the start of the formation lap. And yes, it is heavy rain, as confirmed by those blue-walled, full wet tires that everyone is now on. And this should be an excellent race if that's the case. Heavy to light rain. So we will have some strategy involved in terms of what lap is going to be the best, what lap is going to be the most convenient for these guys to go into the intermediates. There will be some reading of the conditions that needs to be done here for that to happen. Wolfenden says, I recently got a wheel. I'm having more fun, but I'm spinning a lot. I'm hoping it'll be better when I get used to the wheel. Yeah, Wolf, as someone who recently had to acclimate to a wheel, I can confirm it is very difficult at the beginning. It'll probably take you about a week just to learn to drive straight consistently. Maybe 3 weeks to really get consistently good to the point where you can do a league race. And over a month probably before you recover your old pace and start improving. It is a long learning process, but it is a very gratifying one. I loved going through it, and now before I stopped actually racing on this game, I ended as like one of the top 400 or 500 fastest guys on Xbox. So it is, yeah, it's great. It's totally worthwhile. So keep at it. Don't get discouraged, and you'll get there. In the meantime, everyone just weaving around, warming up their tires right now. Not that you can do that very much in heavy rain. We are going to finally get underway for the actual race. 26 laps around this wonderful Silverstone Circuit. Should be a great one, and I hope you'll stay with me for the entire time, because we will have action up and down the field throughout every lap, in every corner, I'm sure. Now the grid will be forming up behind our pole sitter, ARS GUTIDU, and the Mercedes. Our winner from last week looking to make it 2 in a row. Will he succeed? Again, stay tuned to find out. And we are on the grid. Watching GUTIDU. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights. And we are underway for this British Grand Prix. Looks like a good start for GUTIDU. A bit of a wiggle already for Neymar in the AlphaTauri. Good start for good start for GUTIDU, but also Meanfern going right up the outside of Taylor, it looks like. Meanfern up into P2 possibly. Taylor still side by side. Joe already up to 4th place in the McLaren. Excellent start from him. And Ritzy falling back a little bit to P5. Cookie, he's struggling. Ardell really doing well so far. They're still side by side. Meanfern and Taylor. We're going to ride on board with Taylor right now. GUTIDU already pulling away. Side by side on the morning straight. Meanfern's nosing ahead, but Taylor has the momentum right now. Looks like into Brooklands now. Who's going to come out on top? Joe's who's putting his nose in now. And Taylor all the way all around the outside, and Meanfern spins. And he's around in the Mercedes, and it looks like Ritzy got caught up in that a little bit as well. And already the fortunes wildly turning against some people and in favor of others. Let's see if Ritzy has any damage real quick. It's hard to see through the spray, but oh yes, he is. Ritzy's missing an end plate on the left-hand side, the championship leader, and Meanfern coming to blows early on. And that is going to be super damaging to both of them. Now we go back up towards the leaders. The stewards will most likely take a look at that. Taylor clan, meanwhile, trying to chase down Ares GUTIDU. Now he's already gaining a little bit of ground, it looks like, towards the end of the first lap. Into Stowe corner. Both of them pretty smooth so far. Meanwhile, Bosscookie and Joe battling it out for what is now 3rd place. That's Meanfern and Ritzy came to blows like that. Side by side, the McLaren possibly fighting for a podium here. Cookie at the inside line, though, and he's going to push him out. Joe sticks it in somehow. There was no room there, but he made it work. And there's contact again, and he spins. Bosscookie is around. And once again, a contentious battle comes to blows. Cookie's not going to have damage, but he has lost ground. Joe has no damage, but he's lost a lot of ground as well and might get a penalty. Ardell poked his nose in there, and he paid the price. Looks like he has damage, as he's being passed up by Neymar now. And already lots of shuffling around through the field. Finfan locks up into Aintree. He might have damage as well. No, he doesn't, but he's still struggling quite a bit. Front wing end plate just flew off there. I'm not sure whose it is. And Ardell has left. Ardell is out of the lobby now. I'm not sure what's happened to him, whether he rage quit or if he just disconnected, but hopefully he rejoins. And meanwhile, we're going to go further back up the order again. And Neymar. Is Neymar actually up to P2? I don't think he is. No, he is not. That is a glitch. Neymar is not actually in that position. The scoreboard is having a little bit of a drunken bender again. So we'll just wait a minute for it to sort itself out. This is Taylor in 2nd. That's GUTIDU up ahead of him in the Merc. Wait a minute. Holy shit, it is Neymar. It is Neymar. Neymar is up into 2nd place somehow. How in the world has that happened? Taylor must have run into trouble or something, because Neymar is now into P2. And it is not a fluke. There is no pit stop magic involved there. He is actually in 2nd place, the AlphaTauri. What a start to this race already. Joe dives into the pits, and rightfully so. Bobby10P in chat says, rain so fun to watch, so shit to race slow. Yep, I completely agree. I will say that much. It's very challenging, especially at a track with a lot of fast corners like Silverstone. But it looks like Taylor is consistently reeling in Neymar here, bit by bit, sector by sector. But GUTIDU now is in a league of his own. No pun intended. He is 6 seconds ahead of Neymar, even more ahead of Taylor. And you can see Taylor having a bit of counter steer out of Aintree. He is pushing it right to the limit at the moment. Joe, Ardell, Ritzy, and Stenner have already had to come into the pits to change tires, because they came to blows with someone early on. Bosscookie very lucky not to suffer the same fate. Same with Deer Hunter and with Finfan. And look at the spray. You can barely see anything here right now, but Taylor is still pushing through and catching up to Neymar. Hand over fist right now, and he does let it by. There might have been some Red Bull team orders there, but it would appear that Taylor is passed now up into P2 either way, and he's free to chase down GUTIDU, but there's already a 7-second gap. I'm not sure how he can do it. GUTIDU already looking really good for a second win here, here at the Silverstone Circuit. Meanwhile, further back, Deer Hunter fighting with MRL Victor right now for 6th place. Catra, Victor, and Deer Hunter really close together right now. All fighting over a spot in the top 5. Coming down the hangar straight now on lap 3 of this race. No DRS, keep in mind, because it is wet. And it would be too dangerous to the drivers if DRS was enabled. But Deer Hunter really close to the back of Victor right now. The Ferrari and the AlphaTauri roughly equal. Ferrari has better straight line speed. AlphaTauri handles better generally. GUTIDU setting the fastest lap of the race of 40.974. Rookie asking, do the Mercedes cars have gas in this game? No. No, they do not. Skeppy, thank you for answering that for me. Wait, Skep, aren't you in the race? Oh, Skeppy has left the lobby, so apparently he's just done with the race. Hey, Skep, come back in here and retire in the pits, will you? Just to make things a little complicated for me, who's trying to look at the scoreboard. Anyway, Deer Hunter still chasing down Victor now. Oh, bit of counter steer out of entry again. Very tricky corner in these conditions. Ritzy saving the fastest lap of the race now, 40.3 on those fresh tires. But he has a lot of ground to make up. He's 10 seconds behind Phantom, much farther behind everyone else. And in the meantime, we got quite the battle shaping up further behind. Ooh, Lewis Fan and Bosscookie here side by side right now. Look at this take. McLaren versus Racing Point. Bosscookie goes round the outside. Look at that. Lewis Fan isn't quite backing out just yet. Mean Fern's now getting into this battle as well. Mean Fern and Bosscookie both running into trouble early on, of course. Now they're charging their way back out the field. Mean Fern backs out into Cops, and there's a spin. There's a spin up ahead of Deer Hunter. What happened to Deer Hunter? He must have made a move. He must have tried to go for a move on Victor, and it seems to have ended very badly for him as he's now down all the way down to 14th place behind Skeppy's bot. Skeppy says you had to disconnect. Oh yeah, that's right. You were glitching a lot during qualifying. I saw you on the scoreboard and your times, and I kept thinking, wait, what's going on with it? What's going on with Skeppy? But yeah, if you do need to just get out of the lobby and stay out, I understand that. You did seem a little bit sus to begin with, but let's go back to the racing action. With Deer Hunter out of the picture, Bosscookie is free to just chase after Victor automatically. And already he's in the same position that Deer Hunter was just a lap ago. Possibly fighting over 6th place here. Catra, meanwhile, is gapping all of them. He's pulled out a 2.5 second gap over Victor, even more than that over Cookie and Mean Fern. Mean Fern kind of struggling to keep up with Bosscookie right now. Oh, he actually went wide at Abby. Running into trouble right now, through Farm Corner rather. Farm is the very subtle and fast, flat-out left-hander right after Abby with the Poor Village. And Cookie is passed. Cookie gets past an entry. And Victor is relegated to 7th place now. Cookie is going to have his work cut out to chase after Catra, but it is possible considering his machinery advantage. And we'll keep an eye on that as things go along. But we're going to take a look at Ritzy's charge through the field real quick. Oh, because Ritzy has already closed the gap to Phantom. It was like a 10-second gap between Red Bull and Williams, but now it is down to nothing, and he is ahead. Phantom doesn't even put up a fight. He lets him by. ETM Center getting a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane, and Center retires from the race. Just giving up on life, it would seem. Now, Wolfen saying Neymar killing it in P3. Yeah, Neymar doing really well right now, really benefiting. Oh, Phantom's around. Phantom spins in the exit of left field, and the woes for Williams continue. I could give Ardell the opportunity he needs to catch up. Meanwhile, Ritzy's already gained 2 seconds on BRL Skeppy and Broken Reptile since he got past Phantom in one sector, less than a sector even. Some really blistering pace from the championship leader right now. He is going to be a man on a mission for the rest of this race. Wolfenden saying Neymar killing it in P3. Yeah, like I said, Neymar, he's doing really well. He's benefited well from the chaos, but he's going to have to watch out for FinFan behind. Keep in mind, FinFan, Catra, Bosscookie, Victor, Mean Fern, pretty much everyone behind him down to Lewis and Knight, they're all in better cars. They're all in faster cars, so Neymar is going to have to really keep up the pace and drive his heart out if he wants to keep that podium position. FinFan not gaining on him right now, but he could very well gain in the future. And yep, he is. There you go. You saw a few tenths shave off between FinFan and Neymar there. And Neymar certainly can't put up a fight against Taylor and GUTIDU. They're in a league of their own right now. Taylor's actually gaining a little bit on GUTIDU right now. A couple tenths per lap, it looks like. And wait a minute, he disconnected. Is that the commentator's curse again? And Neymar is out of the lobby right now. I'm going to try and invite him back. But that is huge misfortune for Neymar. Okay, invite sent, but wow, that's quite the turn of events. Phantom gets a 3-second time penalty for track limits. Joe is into the pits right now. Joe might be retiring as well, I'm not sure, but he gets a 5-second penalty. And Ritzy has already closed the gap to Skeppy down to 4 seconds. He is gaining by 3, 4, 5 seconds a lap. The pace of the Red Bull is truly incredible right now. He holds the fastest lap of the race at the moment as well. And once you get past Skeppy, he should probably make short work of everyone, pretty much up to Deer Hunter. Everyone up to Mitchie, actually. I could see Ritzy being back in the points as soon as lap 10 at his current pace. Maybe even earlier. Taylor now sets the fastest lap of the race. He is really pushing it. He's gained 3 more tenths on GUTIDU this lap. And we could still have a fight for the lead, even after the misfortune of everyone other than GUTIDU. Keep in mind, GUTIDU pulled out a 6-second or 7-second gap after the incident between Taylor and Meanfern. But now, things are really getting close again. Nice to see Ritzy can see Skeppy now. He can see Skeppy's ghost just wandering around the circuit. And he's going to have an easy pass here, since keep in mind, when drivers disconnect, their car's ghost. So Ritzy doesn't even have to go around Skeppy's Ferrari here. He can just ghost through it. No problem. He doesn't even have to deviate from the racing line. And there he goes. He's through in more ways than one. Up into 14th place now, and he can already see his next target, Broken Reptile. Looking good right now for Ritzy Raccoon as we continue to monitor his charge to the field. Meanwhile, further out front, Deer Hunter in the AlphaTauri after his spin is catching up quite significantly to... Oh boy, catching up quite significantly to... Whoa! I was about to say catching up quite well to Mitchie, but it would seem that as Joe got lapped there, yeah, Deer Hunter getting a big wiggle. And wait a minute, what's Joe doing on the soft tires? Why in the world is Joe on dry tires in heavy rain and he's spun again in cops? All right, well, that's dangerous driving from Joe, I'd say. The steward's going to have to take a look at that, because nobody in their right mind would put on those tires in these conditions. You only do it if you're trolling, period. But anyway, Deer Hunter is past Mitchie now. Looks like he got him into stow. And that is Deer Hunter back up into the points after his spin, so he's got a bit of a recovery drive to get on with as well. But he's 4.5 seconds behind Lewis Van, who's in the faster McLaren. So it will be a tall order. Ritzy, meanwhile, while we were looking at them, has already gotten past Broken Reptile in the Haas car, and he's now going to be chasing after the 2 Alfa Romeos. Unknown You and Mitchie are both just ahead of him now. And ahead of him, Deer Hunter. It looks like Deer Hunter could potentially be ordered to let Ritzy pass in the same way that Neymar had to let Taylor pass early on in the race when he got 2nd place. So if really Ritzy is already back in the points, he just these 3 overtakes are really just formalities, it seems. The pace difference he has compared to the people in front of him is just insane. The only people matching him right now are the top 2. Not even GUTIDU's matching him, but only his teammate Taylor really has comparable pace right now, since Taylor's setting fastest lap after fastest lap as well. And he's really closing down the gap now. It's down to 5.5 seconds, where it was previously over 6. And because of Neymar's disconnection, he's actually fallen down to 5th place now, behind the 2 racing points. FinFan currently in 3rd, Cookie close behind in 4th. And Joe gets a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane, and Joe indeed retires from the session. That's what I was expecting a while ago. But now it is official. 2 retirements, both of them from people just giving up. Smithster asked, why does Joe have softs on? Because he's trolling. Joe has a very bad reputation in the BRL community. He's very fast, but also kind of a dickhead. Wolfenden says, do you commentate every race in the realistic tier? Yes, I do. I am the main realistic tier commentator. Unfortunately, things don't always pan out that way because, you know, I have a life too. Sometimes things get in the way. But yeah, I am the primary, main, lead realistic commentator. So you'll see me next week, commentating next week as well at Hungary. Hungary is the track we're going to next week. And Bosscookie actually is catching up here. He's right on the back bumper of FinFan. He's gained by about 7 tenths. And now it looks like FinFan could be under fire here. The 2 teammates are going to be battling for the final podium position. But Bosscookie needs it more. Keep in mind, Bosscookie is in contention for the championship still, but just barely. FinFan isn't. And indeed, FinFan's around! He is around on the Hangar Straight. Or the Wellington Straight, rather. My bad. And that is FinFan's hopes at a podium gone. At least for right now. It is still early in the race, to be fair. And Meanfern goes by. Catra goes by. Neymar's Ghost goes by. And that is very bad luck for FinFan. And Emerald Victor, too, Victor has the momentum right now. He could potentially get past FinFan as well. Now let's take a look real quick at Lewis Fan in the McLaren, since that battle is over between the Racing Points with Cookie the Victor. Lewis Fan really close behind Victor right now. McLaren trailing Ferrari. The McLaren is slightly faster than the Ferrari on pretty much every category. But the Ferrari can still put up a fight. I believe the Ferrari was actually the fastest car in the game, or the second fastest, before it was nerfed in the performance patch back in October. That was really unrealistic, of course. A lot of people were expecting Ferrari to be much better in 2020 than they actually were. Taylor's just another fastest lap, and he's closed the gap down to 4 seconds now to GUTIDU. GUTIDU cannot rest on his laurels right now. He needs to keep that pace up. He needs to increase his pace, I'd say, if he wants a chance at the win here. Taylor's pace is absolutely crazy right now. As Lewis Fan continues to chase down Victor here for 8th place, there's not going to be much of an overtaking opportunity here. Maybe in the village, but I don't think he's going to be close enough. Victor does seem a little bit stronger in the 3rd sector for whatever reason. Lewis got the 3-second time penalty now for track warnings, but of course, Victor already had one, so they're just even now. Does he have just one penalty? No, actually, Victor has 2 penalties. Scratch that. So it is still advantage Lewis Fan. And as it stands right now, Victor would lose more than just 8th place if the race ended right now, because he would also lose out to Deer Hunter and Ritzy on penalties. Oh, Lewis Fan going for a move here on the Wellington straight into Brooklands. Victor really covered off the inside staunchly there, but Lewis is going to go around the outside. And all this battling is really inviting Deer Hunter and Ritzy into the party now. They're really close behind. And it's going to be a 4-way battle for 8th place, but Lewis is ahead right now, but Victor's coming back on the outside. He goes off the track on the front straight. He's going to lose the spot to Lewis. Here comes Deer Hunter. Into Cops as there's contact. They collide, and I thought both of them were going to spin out there, but no. And Ritzy sails on through. Ritzy Raccoon has just gained 3 positions in 1 corner. This is insane stuff here in Silverstone. It's been worth the wait. So overall, Ritzy gains 3 positions out of that. Deer Hunter gains 1. Lewis Fan loses 1, and Victor loses 3. And largely because of Deer Hunter as well. So Deer Hunter might get a penalty for that maneuver. That was a little bit pig-headed of him to try that into Cops, especially in the wet, as Phantom retires in the pit, so that's a double DNF for Williams. It's still an impressive move nonetheless from Ritzy, who just hung back until he saw his opportunity, and he struck when he needed to. Meanwhile, Ardell is actually retired as well in the midst of all this. I'm not sure why, but that is something to note. And Ritzy Raccoon is now going to be chasing down the ghost of Neymar's past. Keep in mind, even if Neymar's AI stays in the points here, which he won't, because AIs are really slow in this game, at least in their default difficulty setting. Anybody who lets their AI just finish the race, their points are going to be negated. They're going to be disqualified. So, you got to keep that in mind when thinking about it. Neymar will not get points today no matter what. Just looking at chat here. Wolfended saying, good, you're a good commentator. Thank you very much, Wolf. But make sure to list any feedback you have for me in the chat. I'm always looking to improve. I know I'm not perfect, even if I am all right. Avi saying, love your commentary. Thank you, Avi. Same with you. Any feedback, feel free to ask and make your opinion known. Also, enjoy FinFan's commentary for our Tier 6. Yeah, I don't watch the other BRL tiers that much. I just don't really have the time. But I will say, we have an excellent stable of commentators. We really have a lot of great people across the board. Mitchie, who's currently still in the race right now. He's, of course, our Tier 3 commentator. Make sure to tune in for his excellent commentary tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, I believe. That'll be Tier 3. Lewis Fan and Victor, though, I think Lewis and Victor are going to keep their battle going here, and they're going to keep fighting for 9th now instead of 8th, because they're going to both get past Neymar pretty soon, I would suspect. I'm going to go back to the tire graphic. Actually, no, we'll keep it on penalties for now. We know what everyone's tires are. We know that everyone's on the wet, so we'll keep it on the penalties for now. Meanwhile, Ritzy up to P7 now, and he's chasing down FinFan for 6th. What a comeback from Ritzy. He's really showing some resilience here, and he's closing the gap to FinFan quite substantially here. And meanwhile, his teammate Taylor Clan has been doing work as well. Taylor has kept up the pressure on GUTIDU, and he's now closing the gap down to 3.5 seconds. There can be no doubt that he is gaining. going on with Neymar? Neymar might rejoin the race still. Not entirely sure. I think his intention still is to rejoin, but I'm not 100% positive. In the meantime, Ritzy Raccoon's still chasing down FinFan here through cops. Ritzy really on the back bumper at the racing point now, but where is he gonna overtake him? As the late great Murray Walker would say, catching someone is one thing, passing is entirely another. As Taylor's just another fastest lap of the race. Ritzy into Stowe, he's still too far back, maybe into Vale. Vale's a pretty big braking zone that not a lot of people take advantage of. Double lock up it sounded like, into Vale. And FinFan still just holding out. And Abbey now and into another lap. We're almost at half distance here in this British Grand Prix, and already there's been plenty of action. Stay tuned for the rest. Into Village, still can't get it done. Ritzy's next move is going to be on that Wellington Straight, most likely, where most of the overtakes so far have taken place. Ooh, he's very close indeed. Coming out of Aintree, can he get a good run? He can, but he's going to have enough straight line speed. The Mercedes engine markedly superior to the Honda. Still can't get it done. Ooh, but he gets a good run through Brooklands. He's really up the gearbox at the racing point. Now he's going to try around the outside of Lovefield. Not quite. He looks, but he's not going to do it. And now he's really exerting pressure onto the National Straight. We're going to keep going with this battle here. GUTIDU now gapping Taylor again slightly for the lead. GUTIDU's gained about half second on the Red Bull this lap. Taylor might have made a mistake, but perhaps he hasn't managed his tires well. GUTIDU might have just been in tire saving mode for most of the stint, and that's why it was being gained on. And GUTIDU, yeah, you're right. I'm right. GUTIDU answers with the fastest lap of the race from Taylor, stealing it right off the crown of Taylor's Red Bull. So GUTIDU finding some pace late on, but Taylor still has plenty. Ritzy still can't get it done to Stowe. He must be getting tired of being stuck behind FinFan now. You can see Catra ahead of him, and he can see the intervals between Catra and Meanfern most likely. Catra now 10 seconds behind Meanfern in fourth. Ritzy needs to dispatch of FinFan. He needs to dispatch of Catra if he wants any hope at a podium. But FinFan just has the pace to stay ahead here. Keep in mind, FinFan is catching Catra right now by a few tenths a lap. So that could play in later on. Has Neymar rejoined the race yet? It doesn't look like he has. But his AI is coming into the pits. And we'll see where it rejoins. Meanwhile, down the Wellington Straight now, Ritzy still not quite close enough to FinFan. This must be absolutely exasperating for him. That's the word I was looking for. Through Lovefield again, he's right at the gearbox. The Red Bull is very strong in that little exchange, Brooklands and Lovefield. But as soon as you get onto the straights, it's advantage FinFan. Through Kopsu, Ritzy goes wide, but FinFan goes wide on exit. Catra now gets a 3-second time penalty. She's struggling to stay ahead of the racing point and of the Red Bull. We could have a three-way battle for fifth place here momentarily. And all the while, Meanfern and Bosscookie and Taylor and GUTIDU, they're getting away from all three of them right now. Ritzy has another snap over here out of Chapel. You can see how hard he's pushing right now. Now into Vale again. Ritzy's actually farther behind FinFan than he was last lap or the lap before that. And now it could be the next overtake could come from FinFan here on Catra. He's been catching up to the Renault for the last few laps. And now Catra under pressure. Keep in mind the Renault is much slower than both the Racing Point and the Red Bull. Ooh, FinFan goes wide in Abbey. That should be Ritzy's opportunity. Here he goes into Village, down the inside. Looking good. Covering off the racing line. And he's done it. He's up into P6. He is up into P6, but FinFan's coming back around the outside. Hold on a minute. Out of Aintree, FinFan still has a chance here. Down the Wellington Straight, he goes round the outside. What a defense from FinFan. You see though, staying alongside on the outside into Brooklands. He's going to try the cutback. He does try the cutback on the inside now. And on Lovefield, can he keep it? He's going to try another cutback. 2 cutbacks, 2 corners. What a battle between these two, and all the while Catra gets away. This is exactly the reprieve that she needed. Down the national straight now, Ritzy's going to poke his nose in into Kops. Can he succeed where Deer Hunter failed? No, he's going to pull out. He's going to abort at the last second, put the pressure on FinFan. He still can't get it done, though. He really needs to get the overtake done. And all this fighting between these three is now inviting Deer Hunter into the fray. So now Ritzy could be under pressure from behind for the first time since he pitted. What a race so far. What a race. Ritzy really close now to FinFan. FinFan comes off the inside for Stowe. He goes defensive. That might hurt his exit. Ooh, oversteered. This could be Ritzy's opportunity again. Down the outside into Vale. Big walk up. There's contact. FinFan squeezes him out. And there's not enough room for Ritzy to cut back into club. And again, he stays behind. And now look at Deer Hunter. Deer Hunter has just reeled these guys in throughout the last 2 laps. My God. This is some really amazing racing, and it's not over yet. Ritzy's still right there. Deer Hunter's now right there. Catra is not getting away. It was only a temporary reprieve for her. If I can still speak English after all this craziness going on. Ritzy and FinFan both getting a little wayward out onto the Wellington Straight, but it looks like Deer Hunter did too because he is not closing the gap in the slightest there. Ritzy again trying to get a different line through Brooklands and into Luffield, but there's not enough space. FinFan goes a little bit wide, but Ritzy's just not got the cars width on the inside that he needs to poke his nose in. And again, down the national straight, into Kops now. Still can't get it done, there's no room there, it's Kops. Of course, it's not an overtaking spot, never has been, never will be. Deer Hunter still watching this with glee right now with a bucket of popcorn as he's waiting to see which one of them will try the move, which one of them will snap first, which one of them will make a mistake and give him a free position. And meanwhile, I should make note of this. Alfa Romeo, Mitchie and Unknown Youth. Alfa Romeo has 2 cars in the points right now. Keep in mind, Alfa Romeo has not scored any points at all so far this season. They have absolutely none. As Ritzy tries to move down the inside of FinFan, hold on a minute. FinFan goes deep into Vale. Trying to move a Catra. Ritzy cuts back through club. He cuts back. And on the start finish straight now, and Ritzy has cleared FinFan. Ritzy is up into 6th place finally after all that effort. 6 laps of effort. Ritzy is ahead and ready to chase after Catra. But as I was saying, yeah, Alfa Romeo hasn't scored any points so far this season, but right now they might be in a position to score 3. So it's great for them. They're finally getting on the board in the halfway point of the season. And they could potentially still take the fight to Haas and Williams in the battle for 8th in the Constructors. Meanwhile, Ritzy now going up the inside of Catra potentially. No, Catra covers off the inside. Goes defensive. Ritzy's going to try it on the outside of Brooklands. No, he's going to wait. Going to try the cutback. Catra covers it off, though. Now Ritzy trying around the outside of Luffield. I don't think it's quite going to work. No, Catra's going to squeeze him out. No, Ritzy stays. He sticks it on the outside, and he's going to go around the outside in Luffield. Out of Woodcote, and that is Ritzy into the top 5. What a recovery drive. What grit from the Californian in the Red Bull. Absolutely amazing stuff. And now out of Chapel, he's got to look ahead of him now. He's got 8 laps to catch up to Meanfern potentially and take 4th place. And keep in mind, Bosscookie has 6 seconds worth of penalties right now, so Meanfern is in a net 3rd position. If Ritzy can catch and pass Meanfern in the next few laps, he can win the entire race. Or sorry, not win. Sorry, but get the podium. He can still snag the podium. Amazing to think of considering where he was at the end of lap 1. Meanwhile, Taylor Clan. We haven't revisited the battle for the lead in a while, and Taylor and GUTIDU. Taylor has a 3-second penalty now, but he's also closed the gap down to 1.5 seconds behind GUTIDU. Taylor's pace is markedly superior right now. The question is, can he catch, can he overtake, can he maybe pressure GUTIDU into a mistake that gets him a penalty? That's the only way I could see Taylor actually winning this race on paper as well as on track. Either way, we'll soon find out. Coming through Chapel, pretty static right now. No one gaining, nobody losing in that fight. going to go back to the battle for 7th. Real quick, Deer Hunter now chasing after FinFan. FinFan seems to have lost quite a bit of pace after his battle with Ritzy and Catra, and he's now struggling as Deer Hunter's right on the tail of him. AlphaTauri trying to score a few more points for the constructors as Neymar is pretty much out of contention. Deer Hunter really close coming into Maggots and Beckett, but he's not going to get the move done there. Maybe into Stowe. It wouldn't be the first time Deer Hunter has made a move into Stowe today. He just needs a good exit out of Chapel and onto the hangar straight. Looks like he doesn't quite get it though. If Ritzy and the Red Bull had that much trouble overtaking FinFan, Deer Hunter and the sister AlphaTauri is going to have even more trouble, I would suspect. And that shows through here. He's not close enough to FinFan by any stretch of the imagination. Meanwhile, Catra clinging on to 5th. She has a penalty right now, a 3-second penalty. But considering the conduct of FinFan right now and of Deer Hunter, if they start squabbling, both of them could easily give themselves penalties by the end of this race. There's still 7 laps for that to happen. And in the meantime, Taylor now closing even more on GUTIDU. It's down to 1.3, 1.4 seconds. The gains are slower now, but they're still tangible. They're still substantial. They're still contributing to the outcome of this race. If Taylor can pressure GUTIDU into a mistake, that'll be huge. That'll be crucial. That'll be integral to his win here. Taylor losing a lot of momentum down the hangar straight, though. Into Vale now, keeping it close. Lewis Van gets a 3-second time penalty further back for track limits, but he's already out of the points anyway. And now lap 20 of 26. We are very close here. Only 6 laps to go before the end. To Village, looking good. Gap down to 1.4 seconds, but how much can he make up in the middle sector? That is the question. He needs to take advantage of the Red Bull's handling in Maggots and Becketson and Brooklands and in Luffield to make sure he makes up as much ground as possible, and it's down to 1.1 seconds now. GUTIDU had a bad exit off of Vaintree. And now it is very possible that Taylor could maybe get by this lap if he can capitalize on that gain. We'll be seeing that gain on his heads-up display, and he'll be thinking, I can do this, I can do this. GUTIDU's tires are falling off faster than mine. Meanwhile, Ritzy's at the fastest lap of the race. He's really charging now. Hold on, Ritzy has passed Bosscookie. Oh, Bosscookie diving into the pit lane, actually. So Ritzy taking 4th place by default. And now, Meanford is up into the podium position in form as well as in fact. But Ritzy actually not making much of an impression on Meanford. He's only gained by about a second so far. So it looks like Ritzy's crusade might be over with P4. Well, Bosscookie rejoining the race right in the middle of the scrap between Deer Hunter and FinFan. Look at that! Cookie chose the worst spot possible to rejoin the race. Oh, wait. Oh, is the rain lightening up? Cookie's on intermediate tires. Hold on a minute. This could be a very audacious but effective gamble from Cookie if he's timed the conditions right. We're about to find out if he has. He seems to be holding up Deer Hunter right now more than he's catching FinFan. But we're going to have to give it a lap or two to find out. The rain looks to be lightening up at least a little bit here. It looks about the same as it did in qualifying. Deer Hunter goes up the inside though into Cobbs. And look at that. What an audacious move from Deer Hunter. The fact that he was able to pull that off, I think the full wets are still the fastest tire for right now. I think Bosscookie has made a mistake, and it could cost him extra positions. It might even cost him a chance at the points in total. What have you done, Cookie? You had the podium. Wait a minute. Taylor's pitting as well. Taylor Clan is pitting now onto the intermediate tires. Is Cookie onto something here? Mitchie's doing it as well. Is Jeff, the race engineer, telling the drivers right now the inters are becoming faster than wets? It is possible. The rain doesn't seem to be lightening up just visually here on the screen. We're about to find out if these gambles are going to pay off. Yellow flag in the middle sector for no reason, apparently. Taylor Clan rejoining the track well ahead of Ritzy. Let's see who else dives into the pits this next lap. Mitchie in the Alfa Romeo, another early adopter of the intermediate tires. It cost him 9th place just now. It cost him a spot in the points, but he could get back up into the points potentially, if the intermediate turned out to be faster in these conditions. But Taylor right now is losing ground to Meadfern. Taylor's lost about a second right now to Meadfern's Mercedes this lap. So Taylor might have made a mistake here. It might be a Mercedes 1-2 now. GUTIDU followed by Fern, potentially. Everything is up in the air right now. We're about to find out which tire is superior. Only 3 people right now, Mitchie, Bosscookie, and Taylor, betting on the intermediate tires. But just because you're in the minority doesn't mean you're wrong. GUTIDU stays out. Meadfern stays out. What about Ritzy? What's Ritzy going to go for here? I'm guessing he's going to stay out because his wet tires are a little bit fresher than everyone else's, so he's struggling slightly less with tire wear. He gets a time penalty. That's not going to help him at all. Ritzy stays out. What about Catra? Catra's under pressure from FinFan, Deer Hunter, and Bosscookie right now. She might try something desperate here to keep 5th place. No, Catra stays out. FinFan stays out. Deer Hunter and Bosscookie all stay out. It is not time for intermediate tires yet. Decrees the public opinion. And that means Cookie and Taylor might have just made a terrible mistake. And Mitchie too. Mitchie might have just cost Alfa Romeo multiple points. Although Ute is still in 9th place right now, he is just barely holding on to it. And as it stands, Broken Reptile is going to overtake you on penalties at the end of the race. I think I'm more with Taylor. Taylor doesn't seem to be struggling too much. I mean, it's clear that the rain is lightening up and the intermediates aren't a terrible choice. It's just they're still not quite as good as the wets. They're a respectable choice. They're just not the best choice. That's how I'd put it. Well, FinFan still chasing after Catra. This is the main battle on track right now. Actually, scratch that. Lewis Fan and the McLaren getting past Broken Reptile for what appears to be the final points bank position, but all right, Lewis Fan, he might be on fresher tires. But as of right now, Reptile, he doesn't have any penalties. Lewis has 6 seconds worth, so it's going to be tight to see whether Lewis can actually keep that final point. Well, further up front, FinFan still chasing after Catra now, but Bosscookie is still keeping up with the cars ahead, meaning the intermediates, the momentum might be shifting to the intermediates now. He's gaining ever so slightly on Deer Hunter. Are we witnessing the crossover point right now in front of our very eyes? It is possible. FinFan pits. FinFan diving into the pit lane. His tires can take no more. The question is, will he go for the inters or will he go for another set of wets to take him to the end? Yes, Wolf, I know Mitchie got another penalty. I'm not going to call out every single penalty here. That would take way too much time. And he bolts on the wets. FinFan does not think the inters are better. He just thinks his tires were dead there. So to play it safe, he has gone on to another set of the same compounded tire. Meanwhile, this leaves Deer Hunter as the main challenge to Catra's 5th place now. Meanwhile, we already have a pending incident, actually. Someone has made a stewards inquiry. BRL Phantom has blamed Joe F1 for his retirement in qualifying. And he has put in an inquiry saying something to that effect. Taylor setting another fastest lap here. I think the momentum has officially swung to the intermediates. Look at this, Taylor's right on the back of Meadfern. The intermediates are officially faster. Taylor is faster than the 2 Mercedes. Bosscookie is faster than the cars ahead of him as he's just passed FinFan. Or FinFan just pitted, my bad. But Bosscookie's catching back up to Deer Hunter. Taylor's right there behind Meadfern. He just needs to seize his opportunity. Seize the day. Carpe diem. But he's not going to do it in the left field. That's not an overtaking spot. FinFan gets a time penalty for warnings. Not what he needs in the closing stages of this race. Bosscookie overtakes Catra. Deer Hunter overtakes Catra as well. Bosscookie and Deer Hunter are both past Hey Catra for 5th place and 6th place. Bosscookie could still get P5 here. Getting close to the deal on Deer Hunter. We're about to find out with 3 laps left in this race. Ooh, almost running into the back of him into left field. The rain is lightening up and Cookie tries to cut back and he's going to be alongside. He's going to try it into Cops, it looks like, down the National Straight. Into Woodcote, almost being pushed into the inside of the track. Deer Hunter gets the advantage. But into Cops, he gets the overtake done. What a move from Cookie. I'm not going to lose Deer Hunter quite a bit of momentum. It might make him vulnerable to Catra. Catra is still in the fight for 6th, potentially, if not 5th. Meanwhile, Unknown Ute comes into the pits. The second Alfa Romeo pitting from a points-paying position to go on to the intermediates. Will this gamble pay off for the Alphas? Will it pay off for Mitchie especially? We'll find out before the end of the race. Right now it's not looking good. Broken Reptile looks too far ahead. It looks like he's going to take the last points-paying position. He's going to take 9th as well off of Lewis Fan if the penalties are any indication. Oh, big wiggle from Victor, and Mitchie is going to go up into 11th place now. Victor clearly lacking grip on the wets now. You can see the rain is lightening up. It's almost stopped raining, in fact. It's extremely light at the moment. And now it looks very much like the intermediates could win the day. Taylor Clan's going to be on the charge of his life right now. I think he's a little bit too far behind GUTIDU, but he has gotten past Meadenfern and he's clearing him by some margin. And Meadenfern now gets a time penalty right at the end. Meanwhile, GUTIDU coming across the line now. And he has started the final lap of this British Grand Prix. He's on the disadvantage. He's not on the best tire compound now. He's at a disadvantage, but he has the space that he needs. As long as he doesn't make any major mistakes in these difficult conditions, he will be able to triumph. Taylor Clan sets another fastest lap of the race, 137.0. He is flying right now on those intermediates. Wait a minute, he can't be that close, can he? That doesn't look right. Oh no, he's not 3 seconds behind GUTIDU. It looks like the game's having a bit of a mental breakdown again. Oh, there we go. He is 18 seconds behind, not 3 seconds behind. I would love it if he was 3 seconds behind, because then we would have a nice last lap battle here. But no, Taylor is going to be too late, I think. His pit stop came at the wrong time. Bosscookie in the Racing Point sets the fastest lap now, 136.8. He's flying as well on the inters, but he's not going to be able to catch up to Ritzy, it looks like. ARS GUTIDU further up ahead, coming out of Chapel now. He only has 1 sector to go to win this race. Coming down the hanger straight. He doesn't need to be fast, he just needs to keep it on the track. Coming out of Stowe now, into Vale, the final 3 corners of this race. ARS GUTIDU is going to hang on. He's going to stick to the right strategy, and he is going to win this British Grand Prix. He's going to get back-to-back race victories. Taylor Clan with a valiant charge right at the end, but it's going to fall short, it looks like. And he's still going to clear Meadenfern by a huge margin. If this race had less than 3 laps longer, I'd bet on Taylor catching up, but no, he gets the fastest lap right at the end, 36.0, and he gets P2 as well. Meadenfern gets P3. Looks like, and there he goes across the line. We actually disconnected right at the end, I believe. But he'll still get credit since he finished most of the race distance under his own power. Ritzy Raccoon, what a recovery drive from him. Truly remarkable. He gets 4th place. Bosscookie, it looks like he's going to round out the top 5 unless Deer Hunter usurps him on penalties right at the end. No, he won't. Deer Hunter's a little bit too far back. So that is the top 5. GUTIDU, Taylor, Meadenfern, Ritzy, Bosscookie. Deer Hunter takes P6 with no penalties. Great performance from him. Really admirable. Catra hangs on to most of her gains. Really admirable performance from her as well. Up to P7. And that is where she will finish. FinFan pitting a little bit too late. I think that was the wrong decision, and now he's on the... And he pitted onto the suboptimal tire as well. Just not making a very good decision at the end. FinFan going to be an 8th. Lewis Fan, it looks like he's going to take 9th, and Broken Reptile will round out the top 10. Alfa Romeo missing out on points again. Michi 11th, Ute 13th. Neymar splitting the difference in 12th. And then the 2 Ferraris, Victor and Skeppy, just having no pace at the end. Skeppy, of course, had to disconnect at the very beginning because he was glitched. And Victor really falling short right at the end of the race. And there is your finishing order. It looks like since Smeenfern disconnected and GUTIDU doesn't have a mic, I'm not sure there's any point in doing podium interviews since we would only have Taylor. So I think we're going to end it here. But that was a great race. It's really challenging me. Like my third shot, that was the most challenging stream I've ever had to do in racing. But well, was it worth it? That was nice to remember. And I want to thank you all for tuning in. 26 viewers we peaked at. Thank you guys for all your support. Some of you guys followed the stream today. I might have missed it, but thank you if you did. You know who you are. And there's your podium. GUTIDU is your winner after all that drama. Taylor second, Smeenfern third, and then Ritzy and Bosscookie. Wow. Podium celebrations at Silverstone, and these guys have plenty to celebrate. They made their way through a really grueling, difficult race in the wet to come home in the top 3 positions they've got. And there's your finishing order. Again, Alfa Romeo just missing out on points. That's heartbreaking. Haas padding their points total a little bit, though. And that'll give them an ever so slightly larger lead over Williams now with their double DNF. Renault is going to re-overtake Ferrari, it looks like, for 6th in the Constructors' Championship and catch up by some margin to McLaren, who did not have a very good day today. And Mercedes with their 1-3 finish, I think that's going to be enough to get them 2nd place over Racing Point. The battle for P2 in the Constructors is still very close. AlphaTauri having a good day as well with Deer Hunter. And Ritzy Raccoon's points lead is going to be cut down a little bit. Before today, the margin between Taylor and Ritzy was 16 points, but today with Taylor getting 2nd place compared to Ritzy's 4th and getting the fastest lap, he gained by 7 points. So now the gap between 1st and 2nd in the championship is less than 10 points between the Red Bull teammates, which is just crazy. Really nuts. So that's the end of the stream, guys. Thank you all for tuning in again. And I'm going to be signing off now. That was really, really nuts. Make sure to follow us if you haven't already. Follow the stream. And tune in about half an hour for Formula 2 tier. It's going to be just as hectic as this, I'm sure. Same track. A few of the same drivers. Maybe the same conditions, who knows. After all, it is Silverstone. Things are liable to be wet a lot of the time. But for now, that is me signing off. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll be back next week.